Happy Saturday, everybody. Nana does. How's everybody doing on this Saturday? I'm doing pretty good, and this is a good day for this shirt. A very good day for this shirt. Okay, today we are going to talk about Grandpa Monster alias Ted Cruz, because he's one of the biggest hypocrites this side of Texas. And he's all in on the Mango Moose Knuckles' new war effort to go into Nigeria, guns a-blazing. That was the headline, over attacks on Christians. So if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Be sure to love me, like me, share me, and don't forget to subscribe. A lot of people visit, don't hit that little button, just have to tap it like that. Cheers, dears. To all my hangers on, thanks for hanging on. I love you so much. You got me to where I am today. I put up my new Remembrance Day poster today. We don't know them all, but we owe them all. So yeah. And today is Indigenous Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, whatever. They fought alongside Canadians since 1812. So there. They didn't get recognized till way later. So anyway, here we get back to the story now. So he's all in on the Mango Moose Knuckles. Pew, 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 pew. Sounds like friggin' George Bush. So anyway, all of those attacks in northern region of Nigeria are to be condemned, to say the very least. The attacks and the unaliving are being committed by a rebel group of radical Islamists, according to the Peace, Love, and Go Fuck Yourself president, and they are killing thousands of Christians. The government's doing nothing to stop it, so we're going to have to go in and stop it for them. But just like all the MAGAs, you give them a grain of sand and they'll turn it into the Sahara Desert. Nigeria is an extremely diverse and multicultural country. The population of Nigeria is 232.7 million people, and the country, it seems, is split between North and South, the North being the majority of Muslims and the South being majority Christian. The northern region has a higher percent of Muslims, while the others, the Christians, are populated mostly in the South. And in between, there are other religious groups and indigenous peoples. The breakdown is Muslim in the country, 53.5%, and Christians are at 35.3%, Catholics at 10.6%, them damn Protestant, and other groups make up 0.60%. Now, according to the BBC, they're saying that TV host Bill Maher described what was happening as a genocide. He is referring to the Boko Haram group, and Maher said they have killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This kind of stuff goes viral, and the government of Abuja described these claims as a gross misrepresentation of reality. Sounds like something else that happened not too long ago. Is there deadly violence? Most definitely. Officials say that the terrorists will attack all who reject their murderous ideologies. Muslims, Christians, those of no faith, doesn't matter. Most groups that monitor the violence say the number of Christians who have been killed is far lower, and most of the victims are Muslims, seeing as most of the attacks are in the northern region, where the biggest populations of Muslims live. There are instances of Christians being killed in other regions as well, but it is mostly shepherds and herders in conflict over land and resources. Now, thanks to the Philip DeFranco show on YouTube, check him out. He's amazing. Tell him Nana sent you for posting this from the Associated Press 2025. Data collected from the United States-based Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Program. It shows 20,409 deaths from 11,862 attacks against civilians in Nigeria just between January 2020 and September 2025. That's a lot of people dying for absolutely nothing. What was the death toll, however, in Gaza over 2 years? Don't see Ted Cruz jumping up and down about that. Anyway, Ted Cruz made this like a campaign issue for him. He has apparently downgraded Mayer's stats to just 50,000 Christians killed, over 18,000 churches and 2,000 Christian schools destroyed. But Cruz's office said he's not going to go as far as to call that a genocide. I don't know what his reasoning is there, but this has just brought back the misinformation and disinformation they spread about South Africa. Remember that? How the government wasn't doing anything at all. Well, white South African farmers were being genocided. And what happened? We found out that was not true. Wasn't a genocide at all. It was proven to be false and more disinformation and misleading at best. Grandpa Munster sent the BBC a report by the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, or Inter-Society, they call it. This is a non-governmental organization. This is a bullshit organization, in my view, that monitors and tracks human rights abuses across Nigeria. His office also sent numerous links on the subject, but lo and behold, every single one of them was from this one organization, Inter-Society. But they listed no sources because they pick their summary stats and add to them in their new discoveries. But their sources, quoted by Inter-Society, don't reflect the figures published. Go figure. Because they went by news stories about attacks, and the victim's religion was never mentioned in any of those published articles. Suspect, to say the least, as his church or religious leaders are really eager to go into African countries and try to assimilate everybody. Sounds like another thing that happened. They try to convert them, and to my opinion, for entertainment purposes only, they are one of the most bigoted, racist religions, if that's what you want to call it, and they round it all up and mask it all off as lying for Jesus, in my opinion. So, again, there is nothing, in my opinion, that spreads misinformation, hate thy neighbor, unless he prays like me, and then turn against your neighbor as MAGA, Republican Jesus Christians. A few years ago, a good Republican Jesus boy, Raphael Cruz, belongs to a church that sends missionaries to African countries, and one of the countries in particular was Uganda. For years, Christian nationalists have been trying to outlaw LGBTQ rights, and after enough preaching, the president of Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni, in June 2023, signed a bill saying simply being gay and having a romp can result in life in prison. First offense is only 7 years, though. Promoting LGBT events like a pride parade or anything like that, drag night, forget that shit. Those events will get you 20 years of hard labor, and repeat offenders and pedophiles get the death penalty. And there's no correlation between pedophiles and gay people. Get that out of your fucking mind. Now, members of Cruz's church were part of the cheer squad that were very persuasive in getting the Kill the Gays bill. They're a little more subtle in Florida, just don't say gay. Now they want to kill the gays in Uganda. They passed that, and for entertainment purposes only, I think that's the next step to the Don't Say Gay bill. Pump nightclub, ring any bells? They are creeping closer to criminalizing LGBTQ communities in the United States of America. Got rid of all the rainbow crosswalks. No gay books or literatures allowed in any of the schools. Canada has put out warnings to our LGBTQ plus community to avoid travel to Florida. Advisory warnings. And it should be to all red states because they're all jumping on that bandwagon. But back to this story, Museveni said homosexuality is a deviation from normal. And he's normal? And told lawmakers to basically ignore Western countries' objections When the bill was signed, Grandpa Munster tweeted, "This Uganda law is horrific and wrong. Any law criminalizing homosexuality or imposing the death penalty for aggravated homosexuality is grotesque and an abomination." That's what he said for cameras. All civilized nations should join together in condemning this human rights abuse. Sometimes he gets it right for 5 minutes. This law has American conservative Christianity written all over it. There are over 20 U.S. Christian nationalist groups actively subsidizing MAGA campaigns, as well as pro-life and medical assistance during miscarriages, because they don't want that either. There's an organization that Cruz knows all about, Fellowship Foundation. If they've pumped over $20 million into Uganda campaigns to make sure they get their agenda, not Uganda's, Republican Jesus' agenda. Now, Vanity Fair put out an article where both President Joe Biden and Ted Cruz condemn the law. So they should. Anti-gay persecution grew exponentially in those years thanks to Republican Jesus groups. Cruz decries the law in one breath, but anytime a bill comes to the floor having anything to do with the LGBTQ folks, he votes against it. He consistently voted against civil rights for the LGBTQ community, and he has gone as far as calling Obergefell and Hodges clearly wrong and in an act of judicial overreach. Go fuck yourself, Ted. He has mellowed since one of his daughters came out. She came out on TikTok, by the way. I think that was during the Ted going to Cancun. I think it was just before that she came out. But anyway, in 2015, when the LGBTQ marriage was recognized in law, Ted, who clerked for Supreme Court Justice William Rehnquist, said that Obergefell decision was an act of tyranny and amongst the darkest hours of our nation. Well, you look like an old vampire and you should crawl back in your box. So apparently he is getting ready to slide into his campaign saddle once again and going to ride. And I don't care who. I don't care who gets unalived as long as they aren't Christian nationalists. And they will fudge the details and spread as much disinformation to make them the good guys and everyone else a left-wing Marxist, communist, lunatic, anti-fascist terrorist. Well, I hate to tell you this, Ted, but November 11th is Anti-Fascist Day. It is. All those guys that fought in World War I, World War II were all anti-fascists. You're behind the times, old man. You're behind the times. Cheers, dears. I want everybody to have a fabulous day. It's actually sunny here today. So yeah, you take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. Not even an election. Be good. Be safe. Mwah. I love you so much. Ooh, can't wait to get them done on Monday. So anyway, be good to you and give somebody a hug. I love you.